Welcome back. This is The Tax Lawyer here on the Legal Broadcast Network. I'm Scott Drake, and my guest is Rob Wood, tax attorney at Wood LLP in San Francisco. He's live from his office, is speaking with us today. And we're talking about a piece he's written in Forbes. This is a great story. A 24-year-old woman in Michigan wins $66 million in the lottery. She'd been playing for several years and had probably spent somewhere in the neighborhood of $10,000 on lottery tickets over time, and she finally hits it big, and it's on Friday the 13th, which is also nice. But this is an unusual situation, Rob, I have to tell you. Usually people who win big lotteries are 80 years old living in a trailer. So this is actually a person who's 24 years old. They have their whole life ahead of them. And I guess some tax planning is pretty important here.
It is, and I think you commented that, I mean, she's young and she's attractive. This photograph, I think that's why the story kind of took off, that it's a sort of an attractive and interesting young woman who wins the lottery and is planning her life. And also she seems organized. You know, she's apparently getting tax advice, financial planning advice, and trying to make sure that she doesn't go the way of some other lottery winners who end up in litigation with family members and with the government over tax obligations. So, you know, bravo! It's kind of a feel-good story in that sense.
And this raises the question that I'm sure many people have had from time to time. In the event you win the lottery, it seems like at least 99% of the people will always take the lump sum instead of the annuity, as she did here. But she's unusual. She's 24 years old. She could potentially have, I don't know, another 20 years of payments. Which, in your mind, if you won the lottery today, Rob, and it was $66 million, would you take the lump sum or would you jump in and take the payments?
Gosh, I'd have to think about that. I'd probably take the lumps. I'd probably take the lump sum, but I think what you're seeing, Scott, in your reaction of preference for lump sum is probably just primarily a function of interest rates. You know, we know they're historically low right now, and therefore any product that locks in a payment, is going to pay more. But how much more is it going to pay? And that's going to be a function of the interest rates. We see the same kind of thing with personal injury or, other types of litigation recoveries where someone is offered a choice. Do they want the damages as a lump sum, or do they want it spread over many years or over their lifetime? I think that's the function that you're seeing, and interest rates remain low, which is good if you're borrowing money. If you're trying to lock in a big investment return, of course, low interest rates are bad. So I think that's mainly what we're seeing.
But the payments here, because we hear, and it's mentioned in the article so many times, that someone who wins a lottery ends up broke within 3 years and bankrupt and dead or something like that. Those payments over time sort of protect you against yourself in many ways. And it seems like, given human nature, even though interest rates are the way they are, probably the best idea with that much money would be to take the payments as long as you predict you're going to live that long.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Scott, I couldn't agree with you more. And I think you said it well. I think that that's a difficult conversation to have with people. And it's one that lawyers and financial planners have with clients when they're asked in advance of a lawsuit recovery or winning the lottery or something. I mean, in case in the lottery, this is presumably a discussion you don't have until you've won. And then you're offered a choice within a certain number of days. You have to pick your poison, cash or a payment over time. But I do think you're absolutely right that for the person who has never had, and I guess if it's $66 million, this could be true, I guess, for pretty much all of us, who's never had that much money. It is self-protection. It is a cautious thing to do to get it over time. And I think another important element is not just protecting yourself from you, but also from family members and creditors. I mean, unfortunately, I have seen the situation where someone wins the lottery or, wins maybe a big lawsuit recovery. and then every relative that they have, including some that they never even heard of before, emerges to ask for money. So, you can be good at saying no up to a certain point, but I think watching out for those kinds of dilemmas is a good reason to structure payments.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you take the lump sum, my advice is to fake your own death and then move on. Well, Rob, we appreciate you taking the time today, as always. Thanks again.
Thank you.
You can read this article at Forbes.com and many more that Rob has written. I'm Scott Drake, and this is the Legal Broadcast Network.